Welcome to my channel, Pimby Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the fall palette I'm going to be using at least for the next few months. So if you're looking for inspiration or just avoiding new releases like me, then this video is going to be perfect for you. So for me, the last couple of, well, I have to say about a month and a half now, Instagram has just been so overwhelming with new releases, and sometimes when you look at the color story, it's the same color story that I have in my palette. So I am not interested in buying any fall palette or any palette that does not really suit me and being pushed for whatever season. So if I like a palette, whether it doesn't look like fall or it's summer or whatever it is, you know, I'll be interested and I'll buy that palette. But I don't want to be sold fall palette all over again after how many years. And these days, every time I log on to Instagram, there seems to be a new brand, you know, new releases, at least 15 new palettes I see every day, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, so I've been sort of avoiding Instagram because I'm just fed up. And I can resist, you know, the ordinary palettes, you know, like your matte and your shimmer. I can resist those. It's when it's like an all shimmer palette or something and it's so beautiful. That's my issue. And yeah, so I am currently running away from Instagram. I just quickly go on it, do whatever I need to do, and then come out. I don't like browse and be clicking, you know, up and down, you know, just out of the fear that I will see something I like, and then I'm kind of like, I don't know, pressurized to buy it, if you like. Yeah, with FOMO or whatever it is, or I actually genuinely like the palette. Yeah, so I don't want to like any palette at the moment. So I decided to look at my collection and just kind of like pick out some fall palettes, you know, that I can focus on, and hopefully that will kind of keep me engaged or keep me distracted from looking at new palettes. Saying that though, first of all, you probably look at my eyes and think, okay, talking about fall palettes, why have you got your colorful look on? For me, I don't really believe in a particular season, you know, to be doing looks. Just because it's fall doesn't mean that I cannot do summer look, or I cannot even do pastel look. In fact, I recently bought Natasha's pastel palette, and I'm definitely going to be using it, fall or not. I am definitely going to be using it. So I know you've seen it everywhere, but yeah, it just came on sale on a few unique websites, so I decided to get it. Yeah, so I'll definitely be using this come fall, come Christmas. I'm definitely using this one. That being said, the palette I have on my eyes is Danessa Myricks. So this is the first time I'll be using. In fact, it was delivered to me today, so I kind of did this look as a review and swatches, which is why I have this bright eye on. I actually didn't plan it because it was supposed to arrive on Monday, so I had another palette that I was supposed to use today. But as it so happened, this is the palette I use, and this is the palette on my eyes today. The video should already be out. This is the palette I used today. I think I used at least 3/4 of the shades today, so for this look on my eyes. I enjoyed using this palette. I really enjoyed using the palette, so I will link the video to this video if you want to have a look and how I achieved this look. Alright, let's get into the fall palette. As you know, I don't typically use one palette for a look. I enjoy to use, you know, 2 palettes or 3 palettes. That's my preference. Sometimes when a palette is like colorful and has a lot of options, I can stick to that palette. You know, I don't need to use another one, but sometimes I enjoy using 2 or more. Besides, I've got a lot of palettes, so there's so many of them to go through. So I find using 2 or more is the quickest way of using and going through my palette, as you know, as quickly as possible. Alright, one of such multiple palettes I will be using are these mini palettes from Plouise. So they are called Stack 'em Up. 2 of them are new. The purple one is already been out. So this one has already been I think it's been out for like a year now. So she added them 2 more colors, which kind of made them perfect, you know, to use in the fall. So she came out with an orange one as well as a green one. So this is the orange one, and then this is the green one. So the kind of look I see myself doing with this palette is definitely going to involve using the 3 palettes together. I mean, just look at that. Combination of the 3 palettes are really perfect for each other, and these are the color stories really in all the new palettes that is being released. And yeah, so this is the way I'll be using the palettes. Yeah, so these 3 are perfect, and they're going to be part of the palette I'll be using this fall. Okay, I also picked out these 2 from Feel Unique. Yeah, This actually was the one I picked first of all. Then I thought, okay, I might kind of like need a green one, so I picked this other one as well. But looking at it too, they are absolutely perfect for the fall. And I can just imagine that the kind of look I can come up with, especially with this one. This one is yummy, so rich and beautiful. Those two shades here are absolutely gorgeous, combined with the orange, perfect. I mean, look at these three shimmers, absolutely beautiful. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of swatches, but I just couldn't resist the combination of these three. That is yummy. Yeah. Okay, I also picked out Ace Beauty Scarlet Dusk palette. So I haven't really used this palette because the mirror came broken, but I think I'm just going to remove the mirror entirely. It's always put me off using the palette. I'm going to remove the mirror so I can get some use out of it. But I saw when I opened the palette and I looked at this three side, I mean, let's ignore this. Let's just cover this up. I mean, look at this. How beautiful is this? Yeah, definitely a perfect fall palette. My intention is actually to do looks with all of this palette. I definitely need to keep myself busy from new releases, yeah. So I can just imagine the kind of look I'm going to create with this one. I mean, I can use it, like I said, in combination with any other palette, but I think it's going to be beautiful. I mean, in fact, I don't know why I've not used this palette. I mean, look at these shades. These are really gorgeous, really beautiful shades. I mean, especially this orange. So the only explanation is that mirror, but I am definitely going to be doing looks with this palette. Some of these palettes are new to me. In fact, some of them I've not touched at all. Yeah, and one of such is the Martin Cosmetics 669 palette. I opened this palette and it's just an alternative, a difference, you know, when it comes to fall. It's not your orange, your green. I mean, even the green in there is like a different kind of green, like a grungy green. It's not like your typical fall shade green. Yeah, but for whatever reason, this palette is screaming fall to me, and I absolutely love it. It's so grungy, dark. Yeah, I think that's the way I can put it. Dark fall kind of look. So I had to include it in one of the palettes I'll be using this fall. I am so loving this palette. I mean, I've always loved this. It was just because of the name that I didn't purchase it, but now that I have it, yeah, I can't wait to use the palette. Okay, another beautiful palette is the Browns and Nudes palette from Plain Makeup by Yolando. Now this palette I probably use about twice. Oh, look how gorgeous this palette is. It just screams fall, honestly. Now granted, he hasn't got like your bright shades, so it's literally oranges, plum, and oh, it's just so beautiful and yummy. Yeah, it is just so beautiful. Yeah, definitely can't wait to do looks with this palette. Like another beautiful one, an oldie but a goodie. I love this palette. Oh, this palette is perfect when it comes to fall. I think if it expires, I'm definitely replacing. This is one of the palettes that if I lost, I'll buy again. Yeah, I love this palette. It's just yummy. I think the combination of the orange and the green is the type of green as well. It's not just any green. These shades of green I really like, and in combination with the orange, I think this is like a toss between orange and red. We just make it so perfect. And this pink, oh, so yummy. Yeah, this is a perfect fall palette. Yeah, so I'm putting this one out amongst the fall palette I'll be using, and it's so gorgeous. If you've got this in your collection, just dig it out and use it. It's absolutely beautiful palette. Yeah, I think this next one might be discontinued, but it's one of the ones I'll be using this fall. So if it is in your collection, just use it. I mean, this is the Nomad Cartagena palette. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been discontinued, but the inside, oh, it is just absolutely beautiful. You've got your orange, your yellow, and you know, a dash of pink. Yeah, a perfect fall palette. Okay, another palette from Nomad, and this is the Americans Pack palette. Yeah, this is another beautiful one for the fall. Yeah, it looks muted, but not really muted. It's just beautiful. I mean, the combination of the green, the orange, and plum. Yeah, it looks like plum on the screen, but it kind of looks bronzy if you look at it in real life. But then you've got this like purple plum-like matte as well, which just makes it so perfect really for the fall. I mean, this is one of the palette that it really can fit in any season because it's bright. Yeah. But for me, yeah, I definitely see fall in it. Yeah, so I've picked it out for the ones I'll be using this fall. Okay, let's talk about multiple palettes now. So these are one of the ones I'll be using together. These are the Infinity palettes from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. So I did pick out 4 that I'll be using. So they have got colors, you know, that I kind of like see myself using in this season really. So the first one is called Upward, and this is what that looks like. So mainly I see myself using this, you know, as part of another palette, not entirely using it on its own. This one is Friends, and I'm going to show them together just so that you know, you can get the picture. You see the inspiration, you know, that comes from using the palette together. This is Fate. Yeah, it's got like your brown, your orange. Yeah, just beautiful. And then finally Exchange. Yeah, so these 4 palettes really complement each other, and that's why I picked them out, you know, for my use this fall. This could definitely be one palette, but looking at it together, it's just so beautiful. I see myself using it in 2s actually, so these together and this together, or you know, just mixing and matching really, but they are really beautiful for the fall. Okay, another new to me, again delivered with the other Danessa Myricks palette. So this is volume 3. This is another one I'll be using this fall, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This along with some of my matte only, or even the ones matte and shimmer, this together with any of the palettes, I think it's going to be so yummy for the fall. So beautiful. This color here, even this, I don't know what you are seeing on the screen, they are absolutely beautiful. Okay, purple on the camera, but when I look at it in person, it looks bronzy, rusty kind of shade. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely perfect for the fall. Yeah, so this is one I picked out to use it for the next couple of months. Okay, this one is not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, it is just a perfect fall palette. I mean, you know, I love colorful palettes, and this palette gives me fall, gives me pumpkin, gives me orange, gives me burgundy, gives me reddish orange. It is just so beautiful. This I'm hoping that I have a feeling that they've discontinued it, but I'm really hoping they haven't, because this is one of those palettes again, if I lose, I would want to replace. It is just so beautiful. Ordinary looking at it alone, it brings me so much joy. Look at this, just look at that. Just gonna give you a quick swatch for this one. Look at that. That is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so this one is definitely perfect for me for the fall. Yeah, it will be one of the palettes I'll be using. Probably with some other one. Most likely with another palette, maybe with a little bit of a palette that has green, so I can put green on my lower lid. But yeah, this is definitely one of my fall palettes. Okay, another oldie but a goodie. This is BH Cosmetic Avocado palette. This palette is beautiful, perfect for fall. Look at that. I hate the distortion of the frames of the palette, but it is a beautiful palette. Oh, can you see? So yummy. It's always one of the ones I use. For whatever reason, I tend to bring it out at this time of the year. I don't know, probably because it just looks fallish kind of palette, and I've got so many bright palettes, you know, when it comes to summer. Yeah, so this one is always relegated to this time of the year. Yeah, so the avocado palette, yeah, definitely one of the one I'll be using in the fall. I mean, for a long time I've paid too much attention to my singles, so I'm starting to really give my palette attention now, because it's getting close to the year where I have to declutter some. So if I don't use them, how do I know which one I want to declutter? So I'm trying to get through my palette as much as possible. So a perfect one for me, a perfect fall palette, is the Radiology Reds palette from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. So I think I used this 2 weeks ago or last week. Yeah, it is beautiful. Look at this. It's only got one shimmer, but that shimmer, absolutely gorgeous. And look at the other shades. They are perfect shade, you know, for the fall. Look at that. It's beautiful. I remember using this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. If I remember which look, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, another beautiful one for the fall. Okay, let's talk Colourpop. So from Colourpop, I picked these two, On It palette and the Lush palette. Now the Lush palette has a bit of a bright color, but it's still perfect for fall. Look at that. That as a pop, maybe under my lower lid, or even in the inner corner on the lower lid, or whatever, just as a pop of color. But the rest are just perfect. And for me, like I say, just because it's fall doesn't mean I can't use bright colors, you know. Yeah, this is perfect for me. So this is another fall palette. And then I also picked the On It palette. So the colors in this are really fall colors. Yeah, so this is the inside of On It palette. It is gorgeous. Look at that shade. That shade is dark, but it's beautiful and yummy. Yeah, dark to dark in the outer corner. Oh, so beautiful. Just either over this or over that. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And then from Pink Crush Cosmetics, I picked them the Rainforest palette. This screams fall actually. I mean, there's no two way about this one. I don't know when they released it. They probably released it maybe fall last year. I don't know. But yeah, this is a perfect one for fall. So gorgeous. Now I've used this one. I tend to use this kind of palette during the week. But I want to try and use it, you know, for like a proper slap you in the face kind of look. And these are some of the shimmers in the palette, and they are gorgeous. I mean, look at that, look at that. That in the inner corner as a pop of color, even on the lower lid, anywhere on the lid or whatever, you know. Look, it's just beautiful. Yeah, this is definitely a gorgeous fall palette. So if you have it in your collection, dig it out and use it. Yeah, it's one of the ones I will be using this for. I also picked up this palette from Sample Beauty, the Equalizer palette. This palette is gorgeous, and the color story, oh, it is so beautiful and unique. I don't think I've ever actually seen this kind of color story in any other palette. I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Not in my collection anyway. But it is beautiful. I mean, look at this. For whatever reason, look at this last row. I really love this last row, even though it's black and white, and look at that. That is beautiful. That alone on the eye is a look. And then look at the rest of the palette. It is so beautiful. The purple and the, I want to say, burgundy kind of tones mixed with orange in this palette. It is yummy. It is yummy. I have not used this palette. I've had it for like, what, 3 months now or 4 months, and I haven't touched it. But I'm definitely going to be using it this fall. It is beautiful and yummy. Yeah, so this one is a perfect palette. Yeah, so I'm really excited to put this as one of my fall palettes. It will definitely help me, you know, to get a use out of this one. Now, most of these are probably going to be used during the week, but it's still something. When it comes to during the week, I like to plan the kind of palette I'm going to be using. I pre-plan it, so I know on Monday I might have 2 options, so it's easier for me to just kind of like pick one rather than be looking for a palette to use, because I usually struggle with picking a choice. Sometimes I end up using the same thing, and I don't like that, so I like to try and get more use out of the ones I haven't touched. So picking all this palette out is going to help me, you know, especially during the week. So one of such palettes I'll be using during the week is this one from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo, and this is the Church Girl palette. Again, another beautiful palette that I've not used at all. This is one of the ones I got. It's one of about 50% sales. Yeah, that I got this, so I got it half price, but nevertheless it's a beautiful fall palette. I mean, granted, it's only got red, orange and brown, but you know, it's perfect, you know, for during the week as a fall palette. I mean, I might take one of the other palettes I've shown now today as, you know, a pop of color somewhere just to brighten my looks. But yeah, this one is another perfect fall palette. Yeah, I also brought out Nomad Haunted Europe palette. Again, I used this palette, I believe, within this week. I used it alongside 5 other palettes to kind of create a look that one of their latest palettes will create, because right now I'm not buying it unless it's on sale or something, because all of the colors really are in all of my other palettes from Nomad. Yeah, but this particular one I brought out because it's really beautiful. I think I like a combination of orange, purples and greens, you know, when it comes to fall, burgundy, your dark yummy orange. Oh, so beautiful. And this palette seems to have most of those shades, you know. So a pop of green here, your pink, purples, brown, and you've got your orange. So this one for me, it is a perfect fall palette. at least for my choice anyway. Yeah, I can just see so many looks coming out of this palette, so this is one of the ones I'll be using this for. Another one, brought this one out together actually to use as one palette, because this is only got one shimmer and this is an all shimmer palette, so I think they'll be perfect for each other. So this is the inside of the all shimmer one, and this is the one that only has one shimmer. So the shimmer, I think, yeah, that's the one in the center. All the other shades, the other 8 shades are matte, and I think, I mean, look at this. This is perfect, really perfect, and they complement each other so well. Yeah, so I'm going to be using this one together in whatever look, whether I create it on this channel, whether it's on Instagram. These two will be used together. Yeah, they are so gorgeous together. Yeah, this one is going in my 4 palette collection. Okay, another cheeky one that I put together, which I think bounces off each other, is Odenzai Saga of Freya palette. This is chapter 2. Cat with Golden Carriage, as well as the Ati palette, the green Ati palette from Beauty Bay, and this is what they look like together. Yeah, I definitely think they would go well with each other. I like the oranges in this palette, but I'm not so crazy about that green, but I love the green in this one, so the combination I think is going to be beautiful and yummy. Yeah, so this is going in my 4 pile. Yeah, I'm really hoping I can use all this palette, because I tend not to do high looks every weekday, but at this rate I'm gonna have to do one every day to be able to get through all these palettes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using them this fall. Okay, new to me is the Gourmand Girls Ethereal palette. Yeah, so I'm throwing this one in my 4 pile, because I think it's just beautiful, and I think it's going to come in so handy with some of the other palettes I've picked out. This is beautiful. Now, I know some bright colors are in there, but like I said, because it's fall doesn't mean I'm not going to be using bright colors, but I just think that it's kind of fall appropriate, and it's definitely going to add value, you know, or add some sort of pizzazz to any of all the other palettes I've picked out. So yeah, this one is going in my 4 pile. Yeah, also the Prima palette from Blend Bunny, yeah, I'm throwing that one in as well, because it is got beautiful, you know, fall colors. I mean, look at this. Actually, all the colors really are appropriate for the fall. Well, maybe apart from the pinkish, but again, yeah, I really don't care, as long as it's got majority of fall colors in it, and this does have it. So this I've got now for about 2 months, and I only use one color. I've only used that brown. I haven't touched any other shade apart from this look that I have on today, which I did use this green. So this will be the second shade I'll be using in this palette, and I only just used it today. Yeah, so it's such a shame. I think it's because I already have such palette. Such palette is always my go-to when it comes to Blend Bunny, and these colors really are, most of them are in such palettes already, so nothing really makes me pick this palette up. So I'm throwing it into the 4 pile. Hopefully, yeah, that would help me use the palette more. But yeah. Alright, also going in my 4 palette is the Jamrock Universal Eyeshadow palette from Plain Makeup by Yolondo, and this palette is beautiful. I mean, I opened some of my palettes and I just asked myself why I do not use the palette, and this is one of such. This is gorgeous. This is universal, as the name says. You know, you've got your 4 shades really. I think is really concentrated to the last 2 rows of the palette, but also you've got some of the 4 shades scattered in between, you know, and some beautiful pop of color in this palette. It is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. I mean, that purple in there, even it's up. Every color really, every color is really fall appropriate. I mean, it's just beautiful. I know why I don't use them. It's just because there are too many, honestly. But yeah, I am putting this in my 4 pile because I want to use this palette. Alright, 2 more palettes to go. So one of the last 2 is the Money Shot palette. Now this palette has 2 sections, so I'm not so into the first one. When I think of fall or with palettes I want to use in fall, this part of it is not really one of them for whatever reason. But the one that really interests me that I want to put in my 4 pile is the one underneath. So the palette is kind of like 2 layers. So this one actually goes in here, yeah, and then you kind of pull it out. So this is the one that actually interests me and caught my eye. for this fall. This is beautiful. So it's like your muted green mixed with browns. Yeah, I really love that this one pops up for me, so I'm gonna include them this one. Not that I won't be using the one on top, but as far as fall looks are really concerned, this is the one I'm gonna include in it. Yeah, I might use one of this other green as a pop of color somewhere, but I'm gonna concentrate on this one. I really find this one beautiful and yummy, for the fall. I mean, the matte colors are beautiful, but the shimmers as well, the shimmers it's got in this palette are so unique. Honestly, definitely unique to me anyway. My collection, look at that. That is yummy. So it's like muted greens, muted bronze, and mixed, I don't know how to describe it, yeah, mixed with some sort of grungy greens. Yeah, I like the palette. Yeah, these are not my typical shades, but I just see myself using this for whatever reason. I was just drawn to it. Alright, the last palette I picked out is the Slay Safe palette from Slay Ready Cosmetics, and this palette is gorgeous. I mean, at a glance you look at it and you think, oh, it's kind of like neutral, but not really. I used it in a look, I can't remember how many posts ago, but this was one of the palettes I used and I concentrated on these areas. But they are all beautiful. I mean, look at the green, this segment here, it's just so beautiful. Equally this as well. I mean, it's just yummy. That orange, it is a gorgeous palette. I've used it a few times now, but I really want to get more use out of the palette, and I'm just gonna swatch some shades. So it's at the 5. I'll swatch the green upside down. So that's the green. It is yummy. Honestly, it is yummy. And every time I've used it, the palette has really surprised me, because it was one of the last one I picked up. In fact, I never thought I would pick it up, because I just, looking at it on the website, it just looks so neutral to me, so safe. I mean, I understand where the name probably comes from, but while I think it's suitable for beginners and everything, I still think anybody can use it. I mean, the last 2 rows especially, I think they are definitely beautiful and kind of like a little bit more in your face rather, or less neutral if you like. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, less neutral. Yeah, granted maybe the top 3 rows are on the neutral and safe side, but the bottom one, yeah, definitely pops. Definitely pops. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to using more of this one. I mean, I enjoyed the last 2 times I've used it, and I have no doubt I will continue to enjoy using it. Alright, so those are the palettes I've picked out to use this fall, and I'm hoping those palettes help me in resisting temptation from buying new palettes. I certainly don't need any more new eyeshadow. Yeah, so I'm going to be focusing on those ones. I'm putting them in a separate pile, separate location, so I know where they are. So during the week, at the weekend, yeah, I'll be mainly focusing on those palettes, and I will try and take pictures, either even if it's during the weekday, I'll put in my story or something when I use such palettes, and kind of mention the palette I use for that particular look. So hopefully if I focus on this, then I won't have the time to buy new palettes. Yeah, that is the plan. If you have some of these palettes, dig them out and use them with me, tag me in when you use them or whatever. Just use your palettes. Let's use our stash. I'm trying to. I'm really trying to. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me and you've enjoyed seeing some of my fall palettes. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you.